that's a tremendous looking trophy.
Hello, welcome to Platinum Explosion, number one PlayStation podcast in the Oceanias. My name's Dylan Blunt. Joining me, as always, Ashley Hobley.
Hey Dylan, exciting week where, video games were announced.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
I was like, where are you going with this one?
Isn't it cool when, publishers put out like hour-long presentations about what kind of games they're going to put out for the next 12 to 18 months,
Yeah.
Get people excited about the future of your consoles, I'm sure that's nice.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Xbox did do it for us, kind of like.
Yeah,
I don't want to spend time talking about the games, but just to run down. Like,
excited to be here on the podcast dedicated to the slimiest of video game companies.
Yeah. Xbox. But yeah, in case you missed it, Xbox Showcase happened. Here's the 16 games from this article I pulled up from True Trophies from their showcase that they announced are coming to PlayStation.
Without
The
announcing.
Dark Ages, Call of Duty Black Ops 6, Assassin's Creed Shadows, Dragon Age The Veilguard, Metal Gear Solid Delta to Snake Eater, Life is Strange Double Exposure, Flintlock The Siege of Dawn, Claire Obscure, Expedition 33, Adamfall, Mixtape, Wu-Chang Fallen Feathers, Mecha Break, Diablo 4 Vessel of Hatred, Elder Scrolls Online Golden Road, Fallout 76 Skyline Valley, Sea of Thieves Season 13. That last one, still very weird to say.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I think
Shadow 6.
The Doom story is the craziest one that's coming to PS5. I assume at launch.
Yeah, I assume like that's the
That's
whole
kind
thing,
of the
like
wordage they've said. So
yeah, it's the wordage they've said. So, I mean, in the interview after the Xbox Showcase with IGN, Phil Spencer said that more games are coming to multi-console. So,
look forward to Redfall sometime.
Yeah.
No, that's not possible because there's no one there.
Whatever game they port to PlayStation, look for that studio to close shortly after.
Ooh.
Ooh. Yeah. All right, let's get into the actions and PlayStation news. Obviously not a lot given, PlayStation did nothing last week, but nonetheless. Push Square says Astro's Playroom PS5 gets new update, new trophies out of nowhere. Packed in PS5 favorite, Astro's Playroom just got a new update and a new set of trophies. According to said trophies, there are new bots to rescue across multiple levels, and the splash screen for the patch itself mentions a mysterious portal, along with a new collection of gotchas. What are you waiting for? The updates dropped with no prior warning whatsoever, but the timing does make sense. Obviously, the new Astrobot game was announced last week. I do want to. I've reinstalled. I've not dived back in there, but from what I've seen, doesn't take too long to
find everything,
find all the new tidbits and stuff like that.
But
I saw a clip. Right? Hey,
have they all been found?
Yeah.
There's like 4 little Astro.
Yep.
Whatever they're called.
Yeah,
Astrobots.
I don't know. Bots? PlayStation bots? No, we're PlayStation bots. Sorry. I saw it. There was also a cool clip where they've like added the PlayStation Portal that plays the trailer for the new Astrobot game on it.
Yeah, and it seems like they've added the extra, the PSVR 2 stuff like that. So
they've added the peripherals that have been released since
the launch
Astrobot was released.
Yeah, so that's cool. They probably didn't need to do that. But now, all our trophy lists are going to not say 100% on Astrobots Playroom.
And that's the most annoying thing.
That is the most annoying thing. What the fuck?
Must be fixed as soon as possible.
Yeah.
So that's good. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
So if you haven't re-downloaded that, obviously, re-download it or brick your PS5 and buy a new one because it'll be there ready to go. Whatever is easier for you,
Yeah. I know it's not in the show notes, but, we've speculated about what kind of price Astrobot could be, and it is full price. You go to the pre-order on the PlayStation Store, $109.
That's not full price.
That is full price. That's a full price game.
Isn't it full price like 120 or whatever now?
No, that's for like special editions or whatever.
Okay. I'm fine with that. Who cares?
I mean, you'll probably get a physical copy for a bit cheaper, hopefully.
Yeah. It'll like just price match at EB for JB's price or whatever. Everyone buys games at $89 at retail, don't they? At launch week? Isn't that just how it works?
Most do, yeah.
Yeah.
Although,
That's
if you get make sure you get a digital deluxe edition so you can get the Astro's Yarnham Hunter outfit.
No.
For the three of you who enjoy Bloodborne.
I'll put you in the naughty corner. I refuse to partake in this PlayStation's bullshit pandering to, I'll be like, Bloodborne's finally on PS5. In this outfit. Get out of here. Hell out of here. Just a little of a weird thing, but IGN says Sony appears to remove 8K tag from PlayStation 5 boxes. As spotted by Digital Foundry's John Weinman, new PS5 boxes now only include the 4K 120 FPS and HDR tags and no longer shout to the world that Sony's latest console is capable of outputting to 8K. IGN has reached out to Sony for comment, but we have confirmed in the meantime that the PS5 boxes on the PS5 pages of on the PlayStation Direct are also missing the 8K tag. Prior to PlayStation 5's launch in 2020, Sony noted that the PS5 is compatible with 8K displays at launch. And after a future system software, it will be able to output resolutions up to 8K where content is available while supported. Since then, there have been virtually no true support for 8K titles except for a game known as The Tourist. Additionally, the adoption of 8K TVs is not quite at the level where it has been a priority for console makers. Sony wasn't alone in highlighting 8K back in 2020, as Microsoft also touted that the Xbox Series X was capable of supporting the resolution. However, expert Phil Spencer cautioned that 8K is aspirational technology. Now, obviously, you say, who gives a shit?
Who gives a shit?
Now, I also don't give a shit because 8K is not
a real thing.
Not a real thing. I do think it's very funny that it's been removed from the boxes, though. Like after this costly. Many years, have they removed it from the boxes, or they just put a certain?
Well, they ran out of boxes with 8K on them.
And and then they're like, "Well, just the next ones we print."
This was actually part of the cost cutting from, the most recent cuts. They cut the 8K out, saving on ink.
Yeah, true. Maybe if Xbox had done this for their boxes, they could have not fired a studio. I don't know. Like, was that? Maybe PlayStation should have shared some of that knowledge. Oh.
No, it wouldn't make a difference. Xbox is too busy turning their controllers into different things, to save any money.
True. Yeah, very weird. Well, it's not weird. It's just like from the outset, 8K was never going to be a thing.
No, we all knew it was a lie.
Now, there's a lot of games on PS5 that I'm sure could technically run in 8K, like a lot of the, indie games and whatever else. And the reason they don't is simply because none of those developers are like, why would I put time and effort into that? That's like, even though
for the 0.1% of people who actually have a TV capable of viewing it at 8K.
Yeah. And it looking 0.5% better.
Yeah.
Anyway, some of us, like Ashley Hubley, are still trying to catch up to 4K TVs. So give people time.
Maybe I can get ahead of the curve,
Just go straight
PlayStation, send me one of the 8K TVs.
Have you? I've seen an 8K TV, right? We have one in work. We don't currently. We did last year. No one brought it. No one cared for it.
No.
But you'd see it sitting next to an OLED, and you'd be like, "Why would I?" That looks
look at the cost difference. Why would I spend an extra couple of $1,000s on something that doesn't look much different?
Well, it would be like the same price. The 8K TV or like an OLED in the same size would be like the same price. It would be like 4K OLED or 8K just normal. OLED looks better. Not to mention
but 8
the
is
content.
a bigger number than 4, Dylan. So
that's true. And all the content they'd play on it was just 4K content anyway. Like, there's no 8K content. So,
yeah. You can tell.
Marvel Spider-Man's getting some new outfits. I don't know if anyone's going to care to dive back in, but it is getting a free update on June 18th for new suits. 4 new suits and 4 returning suits. And it's a free update again, if I forgot to say that. Metro suit for Miles Morales, designed by Kid Super. Ginger suit? For Miles Morales, co-designed by Vinny Jr. and Kid Super. Fluoro suit, Peter Parker, co-designed by Lando Norris and Kid Super. Apparently, I think that's a follower or something.
It's a Formula 1 driver. That's crazy.
Formula 1 driver, there you go. And then Motor Chick suit, Peter Parker, co-designed by Rina Sawayama and Kid Super, which is the craziest one to me, because I was like, why the fuck is Rina Sawayama designing a Spider-Man suit? But good for them. Yeah. Do you know who she is? Oh.
She's a Japanese and British singer, actress, and model born in
You just
Nagata,
Googled
Japan.
her fucking
She's
name.
immigrated to London with her parents at the age of 5.
So she's a singer, like pop
In
singer.
2017, she self-released her debut extended play, Rina. After
Banger
signing
of an
to
album.
Dirty Hit in 2020, she released her debut studio album, Sawayama, to critical acclaim.
Banger, but
Wikipedia.
keep going. Eventually you'll get to the part where you'll be like, oh, that's what she's from.
Now I need to click on the Wikipedia article rather than just reading the Google description.
Well,
made her film acting debut in John Wick Chapter 4.
There you go. So, yeah. That person from John Wick. The daughter. Yeah, so that's what's really one. And then the 4 returning suits are the Last Stand suit for Peter Parker, the Into the Spider-Verse suit for Peter Parker, animated suit for Miles Morales, and Uptown Pride suit for Miles Morales. So, there you go. For a bunch of new suits.
That should sate the fans who are super invested in the Spider-Man suits.
People do get super invested, so
Doesn't make sense. Just
use
the basic ones.
It's fine. Phantom Blade got gameplay at Summer Games Fest.
It's true.
It was the final thing showed, in fact.
That must have been the best thing, right? If you'll save for last.
Damn right. There's a hands-on preview from DualShockers I've pulled up here, and then an article from Push Square. Just to time in. I'm not going to read through the whole preview. But like I read through it. Like I'll just read the headlines and then like the highlights. So they say, not strictly a Souls-like, the powering predicament, the moment-to-moment gameplay, and then the couple top points at the top here is the game features a mix of slick combat, special attacks, and forgiving powering mechanics that create dynamic battles with challenging bosses. While the game excels in combat, concerns linger about what fills in the gap between epic boss fights, leaving questions about exploration and story elements. So in this preview from Samuel Woods over at DualShockers, basically say that it's not a Souls-like. They say that although the game system around like having to break an enemy's defense can seem like it's like Sekiro, the combat is much more like a Devil May Cry and like built around combos and attacks like that, rather than like the Soulsborne like super punishing combat and obviously dying a lot and running back to the boss fight and all that sort of shit. They talk about how they could use a bunch of ranged special attacks and other sort of heavy and light attacks and all these sorts of things. But the game is designed in which you've got to learn to block and parry a lot. Now, this person, Samuel, says that he's terrible at parrying stuff in games, but said that he did it well here and can't figure out if the game's either making it easier or like he just got good. I don't know. But and then the other thing was that Push Square in their little short article says the Phantom Blade Zero PS5, not another Souls-like, offers multiple difficulty options. And they write, the upcoming PS5 action RPG Phantom Blade Zero will buck Souls-like conventions, and developer S-Game has affirmed the Kung Fu Punk title is looking to stand out from the crowded subgenre. The added info comes via Q&A answer reveal on Twitter, following the game's playable showing at Summer Game Fest. Top of the list, the developer stresses the goal for the game was always quote, combo-driven, heart-pumping combat that is hectic, rewarding, and exhilarating, end quote. While inspiration for things like multi-layered maps, offering multiple approaches full of secret nooks and crannies, the studio freely admits pulls from Software's Dark Souls series. Phantom Blade Zero offers multiple difficulty options, and enemies won't respawn on death or after interacting with checkpoints. S-Game stresses that despite what some press outlets are reporting, Phantom Blade Zero is not exclusive to PS5 and is coming to PC as well. Further, it reveals that the long-awaited demo of the game is not ready to be released to the masses, and when it does, will be offline only. The developer Canary Media says it's noted frame rate issues and occasional crashes in the playable build at Summer Game Fest. How do you feel about all that? As with every time the games come up, it's like this thing where until we find out if it's not a Souls-like, you can't jump aboard the horse. But now that it's got difficult options, it's not Souls-like. It may be slightly challenging, but but more in like a God of War boss fight challenging way, and less of a Soulsborne challenging way. A little bit more intrigued now, or
not really. I don't know.
All right,
this one's certainly. I mean, I wasn't excited when I saw it at the end of Summer Games Fest. Not particularly excited now hearing any of this. I mean, just the setting and all that isn't my bag, I guess. But
don't like samurais and stuff.
I do, but I feel like we're a bit oversaturated even at this point with samurai stuff.
It was a long time in history. The samurais were around for a while.
In history. They were around for a long time.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
But you're right. Now they're dead, so let's forget them.
Yeah, fuck them.
Move on. From them, I mean, but also in your story, maybe.
Let's talk about Assassin's Creed Shadows now.
They're ninjas. That's a ninja. No.
One of them's a ninja.
And a samurai.
The other one's just a brute with a freaking
exactly.
mallet.
Not samurai.
A big base. The early stage of a baseball bat. He's got taking out heads.
He's got a pastry dish maker for human brains.
Yeah.
Good for them. I was like intrigued anyway because I think all the design of it looks cool, and as I said, it looks very cinematic and everything. I think this is good though. Like especially it's one thing for someone to be like, yeah, the combat's like not ultra soulsy or whatever, but just the confirmation that enemies aren't respawning, and if you save their checkpoints, they're going to respawn enemies, and all that sort of soul stuff as well. I'm like, a normal video game. That's exciting.
Finally.
And finally this week, PS2 Classics on PS5 launched, surprisingly, with trophies. So last night, I played a little bit I downloaded the 3 PS2 Classics, I booted them up, and I was shocked to find out that they actually have trophies on the 2 games I didn't think would have trophies. So for people who haven't been keeping up, including Ash, because he wouldn't care, but previously, the PS1 and PSP games, the only ones that got trophies were the first-party Sony games, which was like sort of just accepted, like, it must be because the other developers or publishers, whatever, they don't want to put time or stuff to add trophies. It's like, all right, fair enough. But Sony's doing it for their games. Cool, whatever. But when the PS2 Classics went up yesterday, or maybe they went up the day before, whenever, but I played them last night. Sly Cooper, obviously, trophies, makes sense. But then Tomb Raider Legacy and Star Wars: The Clone Wars, both officially with trophies, both officially with all the rewind features and stuff like that as well. And they've now gone back and added trophies to a bunch of third-party games for PS1, PSP games. So Toy Story 2, Buzz Lightyear to the Rescue. Toy Story 3, Alone in the Dark, The New Nightmare, and Oddworld Abe's Odyssey, Exodia, all now have trophy lists on for those ones. So if you've sat there and played through Toy Story 2 and 3 as a real like kick to nostalgia, did it too early. No trophies for you. So
yeah.
I'll tell you what though, playing the Star Wars game, fuck, it's old. like it's sort of funny, like how like it doesn't look as bad as the PS1 games because they're like 4x3, sort of stuff. At least these are made in 16:9, but it's still very funny, like how you see how far video game technology comes. I guess is the thing. So,
did you see the story going around about the Sly Cooper game where it's running faster on the PS4, thus ruining it?
What?
Like,
No.
they said the game is running like 10% faster, which throws off the
Like-
rhythm of the game.
Well, it would. There's rhythm sections.
Well, yeah.
There's like a boss fight where you have to like dun, 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 dun. Oh, that's weird. Wonder
Yeah,
what would cause that.
Don't know.
It's odd. It's odd. It's interesting because obviously talked about the other week how Sly Cooper they did that remaster collection for the PS3, and they had trophies on that. The trophy list for Sly Cooper 1, this release, is different to the one in the remaster, and I was wondering why. So I googled to see if anyone's figured out how they do these trophy lists for PS1, PSP, and PS2 games, and apparently all the trophies have to be tied to either visual or audio cues in the game because they have no way to like integrate it into the game. So some of the trophies for Sly Cooper were changed because they can't do the exact same ones or whatever. But that's why a lot of the trophies are just finish a level, or maybe some games have, like it just depends on the game or what or how they do it. But yeah, apparently they can't embed the data or whatever.
Like they can't figure out how many collectibles you've picked up or something like that.
Well, I guess it can if the game tracks them, because it would pop up on the screen maybe and say 69 out of 69, nice. At which point they could trigger the trophy.
Yeah, but if they didn't,
then yeah, they can't.
Unless you like open up the menu and then it sees all your stats of what you've collected, then it could pop it, I guess.
Yeah.
But if that doesn't pop up on screen at any point, like,
well, I don't know, because like the other thing is
collectibles.
Because like the like Star Wars, for example, the Clone Wars one, first enemy you kill in the game, trophy. I'm like, okay, well the game knows you've done that. But then also there's another trophy for like killing 100 enemies on foot or something. I'm like, yeah, how are they counting that though? Like, I don't know if that's embedded. Maybe that data is there somewhere, but not as deep. I don't know. It's very confusing. So, but apparently that's the reason they had to change some of the trophies. So this is what keeps me up at night,
Yeah. Fascinating.
I mean, I in a world where I watched People Make Games put out documentary. I think was it 2 weeks ago on Farming Simulator esport, which I watched. That was like an hour long. Like what I watch documentary wise on video games. Give me the story on the trophies.
The barrier to entry is very small.
Yeah. Which, by the way, shout out to the documentary. It's quite funny. Because they're literally like the dude, like I can't remember the game, the main dude who runs People Make Games, his name, but he's like, so esports, farming simulator. What the fuck's that? How's that work?
Is it tracked on money that the farmer's making, or
so they get like different points? Yeah. So no, we're going on tangent now. They get 2 teams playing at the same time on the same map or whatever. And then you can have 3 different. See, there's 3 players on each team. There's different types of tractors. And then you got to make the barrels of what are they called? The stuff.
Haystacks?
They roll it up and they make the stuff, right? That the farmers do.
Okay.
Man, we're struggling here. And you put that in the barn. Yeah, I don't know. You put that in the barn and you get points. But then there's also like a modifier for like that leans each way the team, and the team comps. Some people build team comps around like scoring all their points in quick succession, so they can like get the multiplier switch towards them, and then they bang, 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 and they get like they'll just overtake. They could be losing the game until like the last 30 seconds, and then they just win by like hundreds of points.
Interesting.
Weirdly, it makes sense when you watch it, but I too was like, what the fuck? How do you play esports farming simulator? But it's also very funny because
it's just a matter of doing tasks on the farm rather than running a farm.
No, you're just driving you're just either in charge of you're the person plowing the field, that's your job, or you're the person like running it backwards from the barn, or you're doing something else. I don't know. Like everyone has their little different vehicle for their job. Their little roles and stuff like that. But the most exciting part is there's a bonus point. Like when the level starts, the first barrel or whatever you can score it starts at 100 points right as soon as the match starts and starts ticking down slowly. So that first one you can score can be worth a shit ton of points. So both teams always like race off and they have their own techniques to get like make that right. But and then that you'll see this like this person like steams down in a tractor at like 1,000,000 miles an hour with like a trailer on the back, and they don't slow down to do it in. They have like one shot where they like fucking like yeet Tokyo Drift this fucking like tractor around the corner and press a button at the right time to like release it so it like flies into the barn to score the points. And then when people fuck it up, it's really awkward because then they have to like beep like back it up and like they lose all these points. I know, it's just watching it. Anyway, it's on the People Make Game YouTube channel. Hey, PlayStation Podcast. Thank you for joining us this week on Platinum Explosion.
One last thing. I brought up Astrobots pre-orders went up. Concourse pre-order went up as well. $59.95.
Oh, $59.95, yeah.
Solid?
How do we feel about that?
Good? I don't know. Obviously, a lot of people comparing it to Helldivers. Like, that had a very similar price.
Yeah.
Again, I feel like
the thing, right? They're like $59.95. They're promising weekly content.
Yes, weekly cinematics.
Yeah,
and probably like updates. Like if you're gonna do weekly videos, you might as well update the game consistently. Yeah. Again, I feel like everybody should just kind of wait until the beta, where everybody kind of gets hands on. Because I feel like Helldivers, like everyone was like, "Oh, Helldivers is interesting," I guess. But it wasn't until people started playing it that people got excited and anticipating it. You know, so
yeah.
I mean, it's rough because obviously Valorant announced this week that they're coming to PlayStation. So that's another hero shooter on the horizon that's potentially going to take, eyes again away from it. But yeah, wait and see. Still, what do you think?
I think pre-ordering that game at this stage is
crazy.
Yeah, it's what I
unless you can cancel it and you're waiting, just hoping to get a bit into the beta with the pre-order. That's the only thing.
Yeah, I think that's ridiculous. Don't do that. Like, just wait for people's actual opinions on the game because it looked mediocre. Very cool CGI trailer, but let's be real, the gameplay looked mid. And Valorant, if that's, I guess, it looks nothing like Valorant, is the thing. I guess Valorant's more of a
more tactical,
completely different type of shooter. However, it's free to play.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I think releasing any sort of competitive shooter as a full price game is you're like you apparently believe so much in your game.
Shooting yourself in the foot, kind of.
Yeah, or not shooting yourself in the foot if it's actually good, but like you.
Okay, maybe just taking off a toe.
Yeah, well, it better be good, is what I'd say. It better be fucking good, or else you're just not happening.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that'll do it for this week's episode of Platinum Explosion. Let us know any thoughts, comments, concerns you've had on stuff. If you watch the Farming Sim doco, let me know on Twitter. Explosion.com/Twitter, explosion.com/Discord. Takes you to all those places. People make games. Make sure it's the YouTube channel I was talking about. Support the website and the podcast. Explosion.com/support takes you to our Ko-fi page. And until next week, remember, every trophy counts.